Welcome to my series of guides for combat achievements. We'll be looking at how to do Bandos without taking any damage from a boss and the minions. The method we're going to do is only a 2 on the RNG scale. At the start of a fight, there's a 1 in 3 chance Bandos does a range attack on your melee player during the initial setup. This is the only RNG in the entire fight, giving this method a 66% success rate for taking no damage from the boss, but a 100% success rate for taking no damage from the minions. So getting the back-to-back 0 damage from minions task is guaranteed. It is possible to avoid this initial Bandos hit by doing a setup kill like we do in our Hydra guide. I don't think it's worth the trouble, but I will explain it later anyways. Skill-wise, I put this boss at a 7 out of 10. This method is extremely simple, but a bit tricky to execute, as you are basically clicking once per tick for the entire fight aside from the initial setup. It's easy to get the rhythm, at least since it's a consistent 1 click per tick, but having to click once every tick for so long can be stressful, which earns it the 7 out of 10 despite being such a short and simple method. For the gear, you're going to want full crystal with a bow of Faradahine on accurate. If you don't have full crystal and bow of Faradahine, you can bring full armor and ACP on rapid with Twisted Buckler, or whatever your best 5-tick range DPS gear is. Suffering is nice to have for when kills get messed up, but up to you which ring you want. If you don't have sweets, just replace with a stam. Once you get more consistent kills, you can bring less brews and more restorers and staminas. This setup assumes a lot of mistakes, so it gives you a lot of brews. So here's the method. As soon as Bandos spawns, we wait 1 tick, and then we attack. Very important you wait that 1 tick. And then once the minions spawn, after the ranger attacks, we pray mage, then pray melee, then click on the angler, then AFK for a tick, then click pray range, then click mage prayer, and now we begin a 5-tick loop, which is attack boss, click angler to run, melee pray, range prayer, mage prayer, repeat. Adjust your camera to whatever makes things easiest for you, and make sure you don't have any overlays covering up your angler on the floor. I had to move my stat boost overlay as it was messing me up. Once you finish the kill, you don't want to get hit by the minions, so you can keep a cycle going by AFKing a tick to replace the tick you normally attack Bandos, then doing the rest as normal until you feel ready to transition to killing the minions, as you want to make sure the melee stays off ticked. I tend to click on Bandos' dying body and then do an extra cycle of the method so I don't need to react to when the boss dies. If you end on the top left, you can just stand still and the melee should stay off ticked, assuming the method setup was done identical to how I do it. I tend to AFK a tick and then move 2 tiles south just to keep the rhythm. If you end on the southeast corner, you need to move 2 tiles either west or northwest in an L or diagonal. Any of these tiles will work, assuming the setup was identical to what I do. Try to start kills with full run and prayer. If you do run low on a kill and need to pod, it can be tricky. Basically, instead of attacking Bandos, use that tick to click in your inventory. You'll need to have the location of a potion memorized to be able to click fast enough. Also, if you mess up and don't click anything, you'll pick up the angler, so be aware of that. You can also skip prayer flicking the mage and hope you tank, if you're not confident in clicking on your potion in only 1 tick, and want to have 2 ticks to do it instead. That is basically the method. If you ever mess up, you can reset up 5-0 by luring Bandos north of the tile markers and then going to the start tile to get Bandos to line up with you the same way as he did in the start. Then, after Bandos reaches you and the ranger attacks, followed by the major, switch to melee prayer, or AFK 1 tick if already praying melee against Bandos, and then run and do the setup like usual. Though if you're using the bow of Faradahine, I'd recommend just switching to rapid and doing the 9-0 or 7-0 method, as it's better DPS, unless you want more practice with a 5-0 method. Up to you. As for the initial kill, I recommend just doing 9-0 or 7-0, but you can also set up 5-0 how I said earlier, but you'll most likely need to manually off-tick the mage from a ranger, so maybe more trouble than it's worth. Though you could just tank the minions while doing 5-0 if you want. There are guides for 9-0, but since I've mentioned it a few times now, I'll briefly show how it's done. I'll also put my tile markers in the description if you want to import them, as I have both 9-0 and 5-0 tile markers at the same time, so I can switch between the methods. So you can see here, we start the instance, get our prayer up, just start melee pray. I run to the tile here to drop the angler, so we'll be able to do our red X action. We go here to start. I'm a little late here. Once Bandos is about 4 to 5 tiles away, you should click to run, so I waited too long. And just click on the number tiles to do the method. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's very straightforward, and you might see me at one point click on a different tile. You can save run energy by walking some tiles, but nah, you don't have to do it. It's just something you can do to get fancy. But yeah, it's as simple as that. Just run to the next numbered tile, click to attack boss, And you're always attacking every 4 ticks except for when you run to tile number 8. There you run for 5 ticks and you miss 1 tick. But you have to run all the way there to avoid damage from Bandos. And yeah, you can also, if you want, place a cannon instead of an angler. But if you do that, like a cannon base, put it 1 tile north of the angler. Otherwise it won't work. And that's how you do 9-0 to play quickly. I'll put the tile markers I have in the description as a paste bin. And if you mess up 9-0, just lure Bandos south and go to a starting spot and start running once he's like 4 or 6 tiles away. Also 9-0 is very nice for a task to have Bandos never hit you. Some final things to note. The minions spawn on a 5-tick timer that starts when you first enter the instance. So if you kill Bandos at a random time, they can spawn 1 to 5 ticks after Bandos. But if you do this method correctly, they will always spawn 5 ticks after Bandos on subsequent kills since you attack every 5 ticks. And the method starts based on the minion spawn timing. So you'll always finish Bandos off on the same tick relative to the 5-tick minion spawn timer. If they spawn 4 or 5 ticks after Bandos, then you have the chance a Bandos hit. But if they spawn 1 to 3 ticks after Bandos, you will not take a Bandos hit at the start. So by purposely finishing off Bandos at a different timing, you can remove the initial RNG, but it's not worth the hassle, so don't bother. The main thing is to be aware that on the first proper 5-0 fight you do, the minions can spawn 1 to 5 ticks after Bandos. So just be ready and just focus on the minions for the initial setup timing. Also, before doing the boss, I would recommend practicing the method a little bit in a low pressure situation to develop the muscle memory. You can mark the tiles identically and copy the clicks and the flicks, and just do a right click to pretend like you're clicking on an invisible boss. Or you can go somewhere with a 4x4 NPC to practice. I went to the Evil Chicken Lair to practice on the southeast Black Dragon. Sometimes the other dragons control you, so just wait for them to move away and set it up again, or have someone distract them, or try and lure them to get them stuck somewhere. Anyways, that is all. Hope this guide can be helpful for you in getting the perfect damage achievements at Bandos. And good luck everybody. And remember to subscribe if you want to see more of this content. I've been forgetting to say that like in every video. Thank you all for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.